It is my really great pleasure and honor to chair this plenary, National Capacity Development, Effective Localization in Mine Action. As just introduced, I'm a Japanese permanent representative to the Conference on Disarmament, but I understand why I have this honor to chair this session is because I'm currently also the president for the Anti-Personnel Mine Ban Convention for its 22nd meeting of states parties. In relation to this, the theme of this session, one of the priorities of Japanese presidency of the Ottawa Convention is strengthening national ownership and capacity building assistance. Japan believes that strong national ownership of the mine-affected states, supported by capacity building assistance, is the key to ensure successful and sustainable mine action. So establishing a robust national framework and building effective cooperation with international stakeholders based on such solid ground are essential for sustainable mine action. So based on this recognition, Japan has been supporting cooperation among mine-affected states, which includes sharing their experiences and best practices. In particular, Japan has been facilitating so-called triangular cooperation, which means there will be cooperation between mine-affected countries with support from Japan. For example, in particular, in partnership with Cambodia, by sharing Cambodia's experience and expertise with several mine-affected countries in various regions, and Japan will continue such cooperation. So from this point of view, I'm really greatly honored and also interested in this session's theme, and I'm looking forward, I'm sure, and I hope that all of you do, to hearing from the experts and the operators in various regions about their experience, key elements for success, lessons learned, and probably suggestions for the mine-affected countries. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the panelists of this session from the nearest to my side, Mr. Narciso Tiacafe, Head of Operations, the National Agency on Mine Action in Angola. You're switched, okay. Rupert Leighton, Mine Action Chief Technical Advisor, LAO PDR, UNDP. And then Eva Veble, Global Special Advisor of NPA. And Osa Massleberg, now I pronounce your name probably right, Program Manager, Strategic Planning at GICHD. And last but not least, Mr. Elnur Gasimov, Head of Monitoring and Quality Control Division, Mine Action Agency of the Republic of Azerbaijan. So I will kind of ask one question to each panelist to which I would expect you to answer or elaborate in about 5 to 7 minutes. And then I will open the floor for any questions or comments for the audience. So let's start with you, Narciso. My question to you would the impact the capacity enhancement has had on your organization. So my question is, what impact has the capacity enhancement had on your own mine action organization, your national agency, including those factors which contributed to the development of your national capacity, and if you have any setbacks or hindrances for such capacity development, please.
Thanks a lot for giving me the opportunity to share our view on the impact of capacity building project in the National Mine Action Agency. Capacity development focuses on improving our operation to enhance the effectiveness, efficiency, safety, and quality of our policies and practices. It involves strengthening skills throughout training and education, as well as securing the necessary systems, equipment, and processes to ensure established improvement. A significant involving strengthening skills throughout training and education, as well as securing the necessary systems, equipment, and process to ensure establishment of improvement. A significant aspect of this work is to adhering to international mine action standards and utilizing the best available method to clear landmines more quickly and safely, ultimately protecting communities and making them land-free. Since 2018, capacity development activities have been ongoing at ANAM with the support of NPA, Norwegian People Aid. Those initiatives have been made positively. Thank you for the financial contribution from the government of the UK, the United States, and Norway. The UK government provides support from October 2018 to December 2021 with funding from the DFID and subsequently the FCDO. This subject concentrated on 4 key areas: strategic management, operation, quality insurance and control, and information management. The government of Norway, through its Ministry of Foreign Affairs and NORAD, funded capacity development activities from January to July 2022, following for continued quality assurance and control effort after the conclusion of the US funding project. The US government provided support from August 2023 to January 2025 through PMWRA funding, focusing on strengthening quality assurance and control, updating the information management system, and raising awareness about the compliance with Article 5 of the Ottawa Convention, as well as preparing the residual contamination phase. Factors influencing the development of national capacity. Overall, ANAM capacity development projects have positively contributed to enhancing its operational capabilities, which exists from NPA advisor and Geneva International Center of Humanitarian Demanding experts. Since 2018, ANAM has successfully prepared high-quality strategic management document. A notable example in the 30 requests of extension of the deadline from completion with Article 5 of the Ottawa Convention for the period 2026-2030, which was created entirely by ANAM experts with NPA and ISO providing support and guidance to ensure timely completion. In the term of information management, Angola is fully positioned to implement the ISMA core system recently introduced to replace to the out-to-date ISMA Endure. This success is contributed to a properly trained information management technicians. By involving operators directly, ANAM can maintain consistently updated data from the field, allowing for a timely decision-making to meet the objective for the 2026 and 2035 years period. The National Mine Action Standards, developed during the Capacity Development Project implemented by NPA, enable to a stabilization of the operation procedures for all operators. Continuous monitoring of the mining operation has ensured the safety handover of the cleared land to end users. This has been possible through training for quality assurance and control technicians deployed in 18 out of the 21 provinces in Angola. Regularly, visitors to the land release operation close to the country have allowed for the detained monitoring of field activities and ensured the quality of final product. Additionally, sensitization workshops concerning compliance with Article 5 of the Ottawa Convention and management residual contamination, which involve provincial governments, municipality, administration, traditional authority, civilian society organization, ecclesiastic entities, and mine action operators, have been forwarded a better understanding for the process for completing the release activities at the province level. The extensive involvement of various stakeholders has been a positive development. The US government financial support through PMWRA has significantly contributed to the development of ANAM capabilities over the past 2 years, positively impact on a national action program as whole. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Narciso, for describing quite comprehensive efforts that you have been undertaking. Not only the mine clearance itself, but starting from a strategic aspect, standard, and the importance of training, education, including awareness education, and also linking it to your activities under the Ottawa Convention. Thank you so much. So now we move to Rupert. So you are in Lao PDR program, and I understand that the program in Lao PDR is quite a mature program. So in that sense, could you maybe describe the following elements, like, for example, important preconditions for successful capacity building and specific capacity building needs for the program in this phase, which I understand is already in a mature stage. So please, Rupert.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity to talk on this issue. So in Lao, what I'm going to do is really focus on capacity development of the authority in Lao. As many people probably know, the Lao program has been running for over 20 years. And is a very mature program in that sense. But there are also some characteristics which have hindered effective implementation of a fairly large-scale UXO program. For example, national standards haven't been updated for 12 years. We're in a situation where a lot of the process was slow and congested. A lot of capacity building efforts, in my own personal opinion, tended to be capacity displacement, where work was being done by external capacities instead of national authorities, and really the focus was getting the job done as opposed to building that institutional capacity. And often capacity building initiatives were open to individual interpretation, and really not being strategic and with an institutional focus. In 2023, the government decided that the National Regulatory Authority in Laos would be moved from Labour and Social Welfare to Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this really was a very high-level decision where the mine action problem in Laos is very central in a lot of strategic documentation of the government. Many people probably know that Laos has an 18th SDG dedicated to UXO clearance. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs really wanted to change things and try and drive a lot of national targets that weren't being met in the previous years. And partnering with UNDP, we undertook an evaluation of the authority and looked at its purpose and the requirements of the sector, which really hadn't been looked at for more than 20 years, and undertook an evaluation making some very clear recommendations on how to restructure, given the size of the program, given the challenges that exist in Laos, addressing issues such as stasis in revision of national standards. And this led to a process of institutional restructuring. And at the moment, we've just finished that restructuring process, rationalizing a lot of the functions, reducing what was previously a human resource body of 75 staff to around 40 at the moment, so some significant reductions, and really focusing on the key roles of the authority and how the authority can best serve the strategic goals of government. What we're hoping for at the moment is then a renewed drive towards meeting a lot of goals. In Laos, we're very much, as any other country, reliant on secondary and tertiary education levels. English capacity levels, where donor reports are always going to be in English, and that is an obvious issue that we have to overcome. But the changes that have been brought around, in my own opinion, are very, very good, and this has been characterized by strong engagement of senior government, an opportunity presented by a change of ministerial ownership of the sector, strong engagement by National Regulatory Authority management, and really having a very clear idea of the purpose of the authority and how that will deliver and support clearance, risk education, and victim assistance activities moving towards SDG attainment in 2030. The focus moving forward for the NRA really is around utilizing advances and changes in the human resource pool dynamic. Increasingly in Laos, there's more people available with strong skills that were previously not available. A very clear idea of purpose and function across all levels of the authority, and also driving evidence-based tools for capacity building at a human resource level. And I don't want to take any wind out of Eva's sails, but having a tool which provides very clear evidence against standards, established standards, is a very, very useful way of providing a baseline and a standard to be able to meet and a very clear target. It's something that's very clear and objective. We move away from subjective interpretations of what capacity building means, and provides very clear evidence in terms of progress for donors, but also clear goals and attainments for the staff themselves and the role of authority in achieving its own requirements under their own national standards. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your very succinct but still comprehensive description of the achievements and challenges you have been facing in this particular context. Particularly, I'm kind of interested by your description of how to kind of relocate the capacity to your national organizations or national operators, but also you are facing this challenge of also focusing more on the key elements or even the drawing down of some workforce. This might be also the phase that many operators might face at the time of so-called completion declaration of the first phase under Article 5 of the Ottawa Convention, and also in the way ahead. But I think your stress of the strong engagement at the senior levels of the authorities is probably one of the key factors in trying to ensure that everything will be well managed throughout the process. So thank you very much for this contribution. So we'll move to Eva. And particularly the NPA has been really active in capacity building, including how to measure its progress. So I'd like to ask you this question, is that how to assess what capacity needs to be developed and how it can be measured, and how to ensure sustainable capacity development. You are really diving into the core of today's debate. So Eva, please.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, thank you for the opportunity to present NPA's work in capacity development. I want to start first by saying that, as is evidenced also by different actors sitting on this panel, that capacity development is a shared effort, and that each of us or our organizations has a very distinct and important role to play in capacity development. So for NPA, capacity development has been central part of our work basically since we started in Mine Action. We strongly believe that national mine action authorities are essential for efficient and effective mine action in a country, and then for delivering safe land back to communities, which is why I guess we're all here. Initially, NPA sought to support these capacity development efforts by seconding technical advisors to mine action centers where gaps were identified. But we have, over time, evolved in our approach into a more structured and systematic approach, also allowing space for reflection and for adaptation for different scenarios. So today we have dedicated capacity development programs in 8 countries, but I also want to say that in all of the 21 countries in which NPA works, we have some component of capacity development, even if it's not its own kind of specific programming. We had donors such as Norway, UK, US, Germany with us throughout this capacity development process. And in the current context where we see that funding is shrinking for development, humanitarian, mine action, it's even more important that capacity development is seen not as an alternative way of delivery, but actually as a necessity if we want to get the job done. So in 2024, NPA has updated our capacity development methodology based on all of this experience and feedback from partners that we have received. And the full NPA capacity development guideline will be included, I understand, in the notes for this session. I'll just highlight some key elements here. But as with other tools that we presented this week, we are sharing it for all of other stakeholders to use, and definitely everybody's encouraged to do so. If you have any questions, feel free to discuss the tool with us and my NPA colleagues after this session as well. So just briefly to dive into the methodology on NPA's capacity development. So the process will always start or be led by our capacity development advisors in a country. And then they will start their work kind of with review of the key documents. So national strategy, national mine action standards, SOPs, information management tools that are in country. And then that's followed up by interviews, and then we will organize like a national workshop where we introduce our indicators and also the scoring system. And this is where I want to stress that it's not NPA that will be doing this scoring, even if we are facilitating this session, but it is actually the national authority that will, during the assessment, going through the indicators, be scoring themselves. So identifying their own priorities that they want support in, whether that support is then given by NPA or some other actors, it will depend. And this is also how the ownership is ensured, right? And that we all work towards the same goal. As I said, in a lot of countries, there are a lot of different actors that are working on capacity development in one way or another. So the focus of the assessment that we do the assessment in 4 areas, which we identified as being crucial to ensure a functional and effective national authority. So it's program management, operations management, quality management, and information management. And then for each of these 4 areas, we have developed a bank of indicators that are guiding the assessment. So each area will have 10 to 14 indicators, and for each indicators we will describe the desired end state, which is also what Rupert was saying, that it's good that you can kind of see where you want to be and also reference the existing kind of mechanisms that are out there, be it action plan of the 2 conventions or the IMS that is kind of defining how, ideally this area should look like. We will then score each of these indicators from 1 to 5. 1 means that there is no existing capacity, and 5 means that there is no support that's needed because it's fully functioning. So it's basically a traffic light system, right? Very easy to see, so going from red to amber to red. But I also want to say that it's not just, in this workshop, people just saying, oh, is it a 1 or is it a 2 or a 3? But, people do need to document in a narrative way why they have scored it one way or another. And also I want to say that while there is a list of all these indicators, we do customize indicators based on context, which is also quite important. Yeah, just kind of as a side note, we have also contributed to sector-wide indicator bank on capacity development, which we think is also quite important in terms that if different actors in a country then have a shared way of kind of measuring their support and impact. So once this assessment is done, we will then move towards kind of the next step, which is development of a work plan that will have outlined defined activities that have to be costed and time-bound. Then, of course, implementation of these activities, and then monitoring and evaluation against the original baseline. And this is where also we want to stress that measuring progress is really important in this kind of in the way that, that we would like capacity development to be done, because this is also where there was quite a bit of challenge before, how to show progress, what is progress, and people were focused a lot on how many trainings were done or how many people were trained, but not so much in terms of what change was achieved. So we will do like progress meetings every 6 to 12 months. So you will take the original baseline and then you will look at the scores and try to see if scores are going hopefully in the right direction. And the tools that we have developed also have a dashboard kind of attached to it. So that means that we have actually, you can actually see, hopefully, how the progress is going towards, hopefully, 5. So when is the capacity development effort done? Obviously, when the national authority is able to independently kind of manage a national mine action program. But on the flip side, of course, you know, the work that we do is only effective if it's sustainable, right? So if we can ensure the sustainability. And this is why we are more and more kind of moving in our approach in prioritizing kind of systems strengthening over just individual capacity development. We all know that staff turnover is a reality, so it's important to have systems that remain in place after people leave. So when you have strong systems that we've built, the new staff can more easily step into a clearly defined and functional role. So maybe one more thing that I want to stress before concluding is that there is importance of data for kind of sustainable capacity development is really important. This is why development of comprehensive national information management systems are important to improve decision making, to allow for resource allocation and kind of overall effectiveness of mine action initiatives. In NPA, for NPA, IAM has been always one of the key areas we've supported, and we are also working closely with GICHD, with IMSMA core implementation in several countries. I guess 2 of them are here, being Angola and Laos. So some other key strategies for sustainability that we think are important to kind of prioritize are emphasizing soft skills, like leadership and strategic planning but alongside technical skills. So obviously technical expertise is needed to solve the problems, but it's the focus on leadership development will ensure that national actors can prioritize needs and manage teams, advocate for resources, navigate institutional challenges, and also to adapt. And especially in the world as fast changing as it is now, I think that adaptation and being able to adapt is key to resilience. Then another strategy is obviously supporting long-term planning, mentorship, training of trainer programs, and then most importantly, as you also said, promoting local ownership. So ensuring that we engage national authorities and stakeholders from the outset, and that we ensure that priorities and plans and results reflect national strategies and are endorsed by everybody who is working on capacity development in a country. So just to sum up, sustainable capacity development requires accurate data and trust, coordination, cooperation of all the actors involved, relevance of what we do, and then above all, national actors who are enabled to lead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you very much for how you assist this national capacity development, including also your emphasis on this sustainability regarding also system, establishing a system, data, but also soft skills side, which is also an important element of any sustainable mine action. Thank you so much. So we'll move to Osa. So now I'd like to ask you about the importance of the context analysis in enhancing capacity and the relations between national ownership, we just touched upon this, localization and capacity development, please.
Can you hear me? Thank you, Ambassador, and good morning, everyone. Well, as the fourth speaker, I'm afraid there will be some repetitions, but maybe that's encouraging, and it's a sign that we are on the same page. So, understanding the context is really critical to any capacity strengthening, and it's something that is, I would say, at the heart of everything we do at the GICHD as well. I work on strategic planning, where this is really driving all our support to affected countries. And what we believe is really critical is to ensure that this drive to ambition to understand the context is really done in a collaborative manner, together with our partners, be they in the national authorities, local organizations, where we together try to understand the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We've heard from colleagues, I think all of you, all the three of you already, that the importance of ensuring that any capacity strengthening support is firmly anchored as well in a national mine action strategy. And this is really critical, because why are we providing support? Why are we engaging in capacity strengthening activities? What is the end state? What are these activities ideally contributing to? We've heard as well from a few of the colleagues that the enabling environment is critical. So while focusing on delivering training on more technical areas can have its role in place, for sure, it's really important to fully appreciate the enabling environment that we operate in, because you can provide all sorts of technical training that may not have any impact because we don't understand the enabling environment. And there may be areas of that enabling environment that we really need to try to focus on and see how we can promote a change that will encourage more sustainable results. So that's really, really critical. So is the enabling environment fit for purpose? That can relate to, is there a demining mine action law in country that perhaps mean that it's not conducive to effective and efficient operations? Perhaps our capacity strengthening support should focus on that area. So once we have a solid understanding of the context, the needs, together with our partners in country, it's then critical to develop this clear capacity development plan, as all of you have mentioned already as well. And again, that should be developed in close collaboration and partnership with the partners on the ground. And this is really critical, because at the end of the day, who owns the narrative? Who decides what success looks like? I think we've seen in too many cases that this is defined by an international partner, where perhaps there have been opportunities to provide capacity development in a more haphazard manner, rather than truly understanding the enabling environment and having a more strategic approach to capacity development, which was highlighted by Rupert as well. So critical to define together, what does success look like? What is the end state of what we want to do? How will this contribute to achieving higher level national goals in the program? And then ideally, any partner who provides capacity development support should have a clear exit strategy. How do we know when we have reached what we would like to reach? To avoid a situation where we have partners who stay in country for decades, perhaps, without really having a clear end goal. Then the second part of your question, Madam Ambassador, the relationship between national ownership, localization, and capacity development. So, in my view, there is a clear interconnectedness between these three concepts. And in mine action, ideally, all the capacity strengthening support that we provide, again, be that to national authorities or local organizations, should aim to strengthen national ownership and localization. So these three concepts, they really work together, and they are critical to ensure that mine action is not externally driven in a top-down manner, but that they really are sustained by national and local institutions, actors, and systems. And it's only really then that we can achieve long-term sustainable results. So while national ownership focuses more at the higher level, national authorities, the various government ministries, it is a key guiding principle in mine action, both within the convention, in IMAS as well. Most of the IMAS clearly highlight national ownership. And then localization to ensure that mine action is as local as possible and as international as necessary. So essentially, to contextualize that, if you have a mine-affected community, how far do they need to look for support in order to, have a more dignified life? So if we can focus on those two aspects in parallel, I strongly believe that we can have a more effective and efficient and more accountable mine action that really serves the affected people on the ground. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think you really kind of have been following through from this conversation to more kind of general approach that we are recommended to take in the context of, the stressing the specific national context, and also you said the importance of having a national authority and nationally led planning, so that it will not be externally driven, which is also an important word. And I think you also touched upon the exit strategy. So where actually we can continue with our last speaker, Elnur. So I think I'd like to ask you then this question. So the question is how to ensure that the capacity building efforts that we have been talking about so much can also evolve over time with time and effort, and also when we can conclude that we have achieved such a result.
Thank you for your question. My answer requires a quick introduction to Mine Action Agency of the Republic of Azerbaijan. ANAMA was established in 1998, but it became operational in 2000. At the beginning, we had just 27 deminers without any site leaders, but after, with the help of the UNDP, Mines Advisory Group, United States European Command, and other institutions, we already established the team leading and supervisory staff. Since 2000 till 2020, ANAMA operated with 2 demining NGOs in Azerbaijan. But in 2020, Azerbaijan restored its territorial integrity and liberated its internationally recognized territories, but was unable to return 800,000 former internally displaced people to those territories because we faced impediment and massive contamination with mines and ordnance. There are more than 3,400 recorded explosive ordnance victims. Actually, I'm one of them. Since 2020, there are 192 casualties, and 70 of them have died just after 2020. And last 3 incidents happened last week when the family was walking and father exploded on a mine in front of their kids and wife. One deminer last week amputated, and one young soldier. But faced with this large scale of contamination, since 2020, ANAMA expanded its capacity from 350 people up to 3,000. Current demining capacity in Azerbaijan consists of ANAMA itself, Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Emergency Situations, State Border Service, 4 demining commercial companies, and 1 NGOs. So I want to describe how the capacity evolving, because in order to meet the operational needs. Faced with the huge landmine problem, Azerbaijan extended its demining capacity up to 2,000. Demining machines increased from several machines up to 87 demining machines, excavators, armored dozers up to 30, mine detection dogs from 40 up to 182. And recently, the mine action law is approved in Azerbaijan. Currently, every day, 80, 90 different tasks are operational. And in order to provide the safety for construction workers and for the systematic return of the people to those territories, Azerbaijan established the Great Return Program. In 4 years and 4 months, 58,000 landmines and more than 125,000 munitions found and destroyed. And we estimate the presence about 1.5 million landmines. Coming back to your question, I'd like to say that the regular training needs assessment aligned with the threats and challenges are very important for capacity building purposes. Risk management and high quality training specifically tailored for the expected risks are very essential. And promotion of right persons and effective human resources is very important to achieve the goals. Strengthening the cooperation with international experts are very important. Despite the fact that we are working 25 years in humanitarian mine action, we still find our gaps and invite experts in order to train our people, train our instructors so that it would be consistent. Mentoring, on-the-job training, and ensuring sustainable national ownership is very essential. And in conclusion, I'd like to remind the words of a famous quality guru, let's say Edward Deming, that you can't manage what you don't measure. So in order to build the sustainable capacity, strong capacity, we always have to evaluate and analyze the gaps and strengths and weaknesses in order to make proper decisions. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you very much also for highlighting the importance of continued cooperation with international experts even after you have been operating for so many years. But also emphasizing the sustainable national ownership. And also the last word that you said you cannot manage, what you can't measure, how to measure the progress. So this all links up to what we heard from various speakers. So my question to all of you is that what will be the one key takeaway from our plenary today? But if I'd like to address any of the comments that were just made by three speakers from the audience, please take up these elements. But please keep your comments to 2 minutes each. Sorry for that. So we'll start with maybe from the Elnur and come back to this order.
We think that, you hear me? Okay. We think that dedication to continuous measurements and quality improvement are key to success in capacity building.
Very short and to the point. Thank you very much. Yeah, please.
Yep, I will try to keep it short as well. I think we have an opportunity. We've heard over the day yesterday, funding is clearly a significant challenge for everyone, for the sector at large. We have an opportunity to strengthen national mine action governance, to continue to support national ownership, and to empower local organizations where really genuine partnerships will be at the heart of all these efforts. And finally, empower, don't create dependency.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, let's move to you.
Yes, I think that also kind of comments from the floor were in the same manner, kind of all reflecting the unfortunate, I know, shrinking of funding, especially in Afghanistan. I do not have a solution for how to increase funding for Afghanistan, but I fully agree also with what Osa was saying. With this shrinking of funding, we do need to recognize that there is a big return on investment if investing in national capacities and also national NGOs, and that this is actually the way to go. And yeah, we should all kind of be working towards that. Also, you know, with shrinking funding, we will need to prioritize better, and to be able to do that, you also need to have a national authority that's actually going to be able to make these sometimes maybe tough decisions that are also kind of affected by potentially reduced capacity and clearance. And then yes, just use or look at our tool for anybody who wants to. I didn't specifically say before, but it's not only for national authorities. We have also been using it for capacity strengthening of national NGOs, which is also quite useful. Potentially also to be able to show that we have national organizations or local NGOs that are very capable of getting directly funding from donors. I know that for a lot of them that is kind of an issue. So maybe, you know, having a tool that actually can measure also the capacity of a local partner might be useful when seeking funding directly. So, thank you.
But following on from Eva, I think Lao is a good example where Lao is using that tool from MPA. It's proving to be a very useful tool. It's very well accepted by the national authority. It's owned by the national authority because it's a self-assessment tool. I just wanted to kind of lay that there as an example of good practice. But for me, I think Osa's statement, as local as possible, as international as necessary, I think is really resonates with me. I'm going to take that away as my little learn for today. Thanks.
We still say that lack of funding is crucial, but the Angolan government is committed to strengthening operation capacity. However, it is essential that ANAM continues to effectively play its role in this handover. So, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'd like to thank all the speakers for their contributions and all the questions from the floor. And I apologize for not being able to take all the requests for the questions or comments. as we are really running out of time. So I will not try to sum up what was all discussed, but I think in listening to today's discussions, again, demonstrates the importance of building national ownership, localized capacity, but also continued international cooperation and assistance too. And in that respect, several already in the questions or comments from the floor, we also heard about the difficult financial situation for any, I think, countries or organizations around the world. I think it's, we from these panelists, we may not be able to provide any clear-cut, straightforward answer to that. But I think the long-term effort in national capacity building and the network of knowledge and sharing of know-how may help in some way in trying to have sustainable, localized national capacity. So this is actually my takeaway from today's discussion. So we will conclude this session, and we will hand over to Ms. Irene Cohn, Director of ANMAS, who will introduce the guidance for the National Directors Day. Before that, let me just say one word, just as a continuation of this discussion. Actually, Japan's International Cooperation Agency, JICA, will hold a side event, also kind of concentrating on strengthening national capacity from emergency to development, so including sustainability, right after this session, in, I think, room F. So if any one of you are interested in continuing this discussion, please come. Sorry to use this forum for a bit of publicity. But thank you very much for all the panelists, and thank you very much for all your participation. Thank you.